The Eastern Area School District is one of our larger districts that we have in the area. Approximately 9,000 to 10,000 students, around the neighborhood of 800 teachers. And there's also 13 buildings, 11 of those are schools within the district. They came to us and they said they really wanted a change in everything, their complete infrastructure. We were looking at changing out the T1 connectivity between the schools. We're going to put in a new fiber backbone redundant between all the schools, complete new phone system, replacing out all the older non-managed switches with new managed switches. So really it was a complete overhaul of their entire network. Well, when you have T1 connectivity between all the schools, it's hard to move a lot of data in between the schools, right? And as the school information systems are growing and, with that amount of students, there's a lot of information that they need to share between the schools. And it was just really getting difficult to be able to move that amount of data. They keep adding more and more technology to the school. A few years ago, with the T1s between the school and the switching infrastructure that they had, they never would have been able to add on the IP telephony or, just share a lot of the data that they do. They would never be able to push that amount of data between the schools. Now, that's the solid infrastructure that they continue to build off of today. So deadlines are very important to us here at Integra One, and that's actually one big advantage of working with a company like Integra One, because we're small enough we don't have to run through all the different chains of processes to get things approved, right? When we need a deadline that needs to be made, we can get a hold of everybody in the office and make sure that that happens.
I'm their account manager, so I'm the liaison between Easton and Integra. I help in coordinating meetings, scheduling of resources, work on their proposals and pricing, leveraging contracts in order to get the district their best pricing and help them stay within their budget requirement. Over the years, we've done a lot with Easton, anything from new construction to remodeling of buildings. We've done unified communications, E911 systems. We've also done a lot with helping them solve problems in existing buildings and existing networks. In the past couple of years, Easton has really grown their population, and coupling that with the Pennsylvania's one-to-one initiative, wherein each student eventually is going to have their own laptop, wireless coverage became a real issue for them. So we partnered and came up with solutions to extend their wireless coverage and really better the environment for that. And I think we've built that relationship with Easton to the point where they do come to us when they just need a little bit more assistance, or even if they have a big project that they need help with. I think Integra as a whole has that mindset. We very much look to partner and form relationships with customers. Easton is a prime example of that. We've never gone in there for a one-time project or a one-time sale. We understand their environment. They know we're in it for the long haul. We're there to help them as their technology changes and grows.
2007, I was brought in. They were rolling out an emergency responder system, Cisco's emergency responder. It sends the calls out to correct buildings, so when the emergency responders get the call, when the operators get the call, they're aware of where the call's coming from and they know the correct address and everything. The big problem was really students making calls and police officers or emergency responders showing up on site without having any information. Imagine being a principal or a secretary and having a cop show up saying somebody called 911, and you have a school district with 9,000 students, 10,000 students. Where'd that call come from? Because it could have really originated from any possible building. What the Cisco emergency responder really can do is it intercepts the call, alerts on-site personnel via email, cell phone, and a text message or an SMS message, and sends the call out with the correct caller ID. Once the system was put in place, the next day, 2 911 calls were made. And it really gave them an idea of how many 911 calls really go out that they weren't aware of. Because a person can make a 911 call and say to the operator, oh, it's not an emergency, and there's no record of that call ever being made. And unless they're looking through their call records, they have no idea that those calls are made. So it really lets them know. And once the kids know that that system's in place, it's kind of going to discourage making those calls. They're happy with the system because now they're aware of all these 911 calls that are being made. If a faculty member, or staff member, or student has a major emergency, they're alerted at the same time that the emergency operators are being alerted. Integra being a smaller company, we have more people that are capable to do more things. So there may not only be one expert that's constantly booked working on one particular project or one particular product, where if I'm on site working on one thing, there's a good possibility if they have a question about something else, I should be able to help them, and if I can't help them, get a hold of somebody else that can help them pretty quickly.